Part 59. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 581. Woof woof. Daodu complained to Li Donglong and the others, mainly complaining that they were left in the car for so long. The two little tigers were intimately attached to Li Donglong, with a look of grievance on their faces. The little wolf got into Li Zifeng's arms, howling for comfort. Li Nanfei patted Daodu's head and said, "Okay, you are the only one who is aggrieved, go away." Daodu. Li Nanfei rubbed his hands, looked at the two little tigers with burning eyes and said, "Big brother, give me a hug." As he spoke, he licked his lips, very excited. Li Donglong said, "Hold it yourself." He, okay. Li Nanfei gently picked up the quieter Yuan. The little guy just looked at Li Nanfei suspiciously, mainly because the two brothers looked very similar, and it couldn't tell them apart for a while. So he let Li Nanfei hold it. Wow! Li Nanfei rolled on the ground with his arms around him. "I, Li Nanfei, am also a man with a pet tiger." Bang! Clang! Guyunding smashed the car to pieces with a baseball bat in his hand. The rest of the people also sat aside smoking cigarettes, their faces were extremely ugly. It was all messed up. Who would have thought that at such a critical moment, Murong Shue's man would come over? More importantly, this man was so damn handsome. At that time, even they, as men, were almost fascinated. It was really like seeing a ghost. What's more hateful is that such a good opportunity was gone just like that. Not only did Murong Shui resolve this crisis, but it also gave the couple a perfect assist. All major platforms were full of news about the two showing their love, and as for him, Guyunding, he became a clown. Now, all major platforms are full of envy and congratulations, and even brought a big trend. Guyunding was originally in a favorable position and had the upper hand, but now his reputation has reversed and is in a terrible state. Even countless people he knew in real life called to question him, and some who had a bad relationship with him called to mock him in public. Guyunding was furious. It was no secret that people in their circle played with those female stars. But there are some things you can do, but you can't say. Once you say it, the result will be completely different. Yunding, calm down first. Several friends persuaded him, who the hell is that kid? Yes, someone immediately released the information they had found. He is from a small mountain village, and it is said that he has a little money. The last Dog King and the outdoor live broadcast incident were led by this guy. Oh, Guyunding came over and got angry when he saw these videos. How much is his net worth? Have you found out? It is not clear for the time being, but according to some analysis posts and comprehensive situations on the market, it is estimated to be tens of billions to hundreds of billions. When this was said, many people showed surprise. This country dad is so rich? You know, even if they rely on their own family and enterprises, it is impossible to have a scale of 10 billion. The family is the family, and it is fundamentally different from their own. 10 billion is not a lot of money for any of their backgrounds. But for any of them, it cannot be underestimated. Then continue to check it out for me. If there is no problem. Guyunding's eyes flashed with a sinister look. It's useless. How could he not swallow this breath? But he is not an idiot. He still has to investigate before taking action to ensure that there is no mistake. Of course, I will give you news tomorrow morning. Several people laughed and said, "Don't worry, this is our territory, this kid can't get along easily here." Guyunding took a deep breath, and the coldness in his eyes could not be hidden. "Murong Shui, I'm going to marry you." He didn't really have to marry Murong Shui, but simply wanted to get her. The more high-ranking women like this, the more he wanted to pull them down. Originally, he had a certain admiration for her, but his mood would change with the passage of time. Especially when he saw Murong Shui and Li Chen being affectionate with each other, and the moment he saw them flying into the sky, the jealousy in his heart was like wild weeds growing wildly, and he could not suppress it no matter what. When will the medicine for stretch marks be pre-sold? The day after tomorrow. Okay, Gu Yunting said, I won't go back, you go back first. Okay, if it really doesn't work tonight, find someone to help you. Gu Yunting did not agree, but he did not refuse. After all these people left, Gu Yunting lit a cigarette, stood up, looked at the bustling streets outside the window, and blew out a smoke ring. In the end, he took out a mobile phone number. Hello. You failed, a voice sounded with a hint of teasing on the phone. Gu Yunting's eyes slightly cold and said, I failed, don't you fail. Gu Yunting, don't forget your identity. Heh. Gu Yunting sneered. It doesn't matter if you fail once, there is still a chance. As long as Li Chen and Murong Shui are not married, everything can be explained. Gu Yunting said, I just can't figure it out, you are the young master of the Dongfang family, why don't you do it yourself? That Murong Shui is just a weakling, I don't have much interest in her. Really? If you are not interested, why do you keep staring at her? Don't tell me it was a sudden decision. Gu Yunting snorted, my reputation has been damaged now. If you can't do what we agreed to, don't blame me for turning the table. Don't worry, I will do what I promised your Gu family. The person on the phone laughed, your Gu family will soon be the well-deserved first family and the first enterprise in that area. That's the best, then I wish us a happy cooperation. Gu Yunting hung up the phone and frowned. He wanted to take down Murong Shui only for one reason, but there was another part, because of the person on the phone. He didn't know what the Dongfang family in the capital was going to do, but he had a premonition that something bad was going to happen. However, the conditions offered by the Dongfang family were also very generous. So generous that even their Gu family couldn't refuse. Gu Yunting took a deep breath, and there was a knock on the door outside. Dong dong, dong dong dong. Gu Yunting immediately went to open the door. At this moment, outside the door, stood a sexy and charming woman. She has long legs, dazzling white skin, and a red dress that perfectly outlines her figure. Her wine-red hair has a slight wave. The woman chuckled and walked in with a graceful waist. Mr. Gu. Are you the contact person this time? Gu Yunting's Adam's apple rolled slightly, and the woman in front of him exuded an alluring and dangerous aura. Even though he had seen many women of all kinds, there were really few who could compare with her in terms of temperament and appearance. The woman in the red dress walked in, not caring about Gu Yunting's fiery gaze, and leaned lazily on the chair. Did young Master Dongfang tell you? Gu Yunting walked to the side of the woman in the red dress, leaned over slightly, smelled the faint rose scent on her body, and said intoxicatedly, I said it all. Then I wish us a happy cooperation next. The woman in the red dress stretched out her slender little hand, and her smile was touching. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 582. The top floor of the hotel. Murong Shui pushed Li Chen away limply and said, it's time to go back. She wiped her swollen lips and glared at Li Chen with a rather resentful look. Li Chen coughed and said, okay. The two held hands, just like a couple who had just fallen in love. Where do you live? This one. Ah, Li Chen was stunned. Did he choose so accurately? The two went downstairs and found the room smoothly. Mom. Li Biwu was about to put a lollipop in her mouth, and saw Li Chen and Murong Shui standing at the door, and immediately flew over. Xiao Wu. Murong Shui's eyes immediately turned red and squatted down. Mom, Xiao Wu misses you so much. Li Biwu rubbed Murong Shui's face while not forgetting to put the lollipop in her mouth. Looking at her chubby little daughter, Murong Shui couldn't help laughing. Did Dad take good care of you at home? Yes, yes. Li Biwu held Murong Shui's hand and said, I'll tell you, Dad did it for Xiao Wu so many times. Seeing the mother and daughter enter the room, Li Chen waved to Li Donglong and Li Nanfei. The two brothers stood in front of Li Chen and said, "Stay with you and them here. I'll go out to get something." Okay, Li Nanfei didn't notice anything unusual, but Li Donglong's eyes flashed with suspicion. "Are you really just going down to get something?" Li Chen turned and left the room, his eyes changed from gentle to cold. He was really brave to pry Li Chen's girlfriend in public. Shue'er had clearly refused several times, but he dared to drag Shue'er into the water? Li Chen didn't believe that the disciples of such a big family were all brainless idiots, knowing that Murong Shui would be ruined if she continued like this. Mentally, he didn't believe it. Li Chen stood at the window, exerting all his energy. He had reached the late stage of the heavenly man realm, and was already a godlike existence in this world. Soon, he locked a position, and his figure soared into the air, turning around and disappearing on the spot. Gu Yunting looked at the woman in the red dress with a fiery gaze, and said, "Are you not from the Dongfang family?" The woman in the red dress chuckled and said, "Why? Are you disappointed?" "That's not the case." Gu Yunting was very brave, and his hand was already on the woman in the red dress. "I heard that there is a very powerful organization abroad, called the Red Skull." The woman in the red dress smiled and said nothing. "I also heard that in addition to them, there are other organizations that are also looking for something." The woman in the red dress turned over and pressed Gu Yunting down, saying, "You know a lot. Otherwise, why would I cooperate with you?" Gu Yunting smiled and said, "But I guess your target is not Murong Shui, but Li Chen, right?" "Oh? Why do you think so?" Intuition. Gu Yunting put his hands behind his head and said, "I heard that this Li Chen is not simple." "Are you sure you can deal with him?" "This is not what you should worry about. You just need to deal with Murong Shui. Don't worry about this. I will definitely take down Murong Shui." The woman in the red dress was about to lean over, but suddenly her hair stood up all over her body, and her body instantly moved away from the bed. Gu Yunting was confused and didn't understand what was going on with this woman. Li Chen. Hearing the voice of the woman in the red dress, Gu Yunting looked fiercely at the center of the room, where a man was leisurely drinking tea. At this moment, Gu Yunting's heart was alarmed. How did this person get in? Why was there no sound? He didn't think his people were neglecting their duties outside. Compared to the red-dressed woman's tension and vigilance, Gu Yunting seemed much more casual. Gu Yunting sat up, his eyes fell on Li Chen's face with some jealousy, and said, "How did you get in?" Li Chen held the red wine on the table, gently shook the goblet and said, "I'll give you one chance, tell me what you want to do. I'll let you go." Gu Yunting narrowed his eyes, not too panicked. "Li Chen, you are now free to use your private territory. Once I call the police, you're done." Li Chen raised his head and his eyes fell on the red-dressed woman opposite. "I vaguely remember that when I was in Rongcheng, there was a strange breath. Is that breath you?" The red-dressed woman, who was tense all over, did not answer immediately. Gu Yunting saw that Li Chen ignored him again, and he was a little angry. "Come in." As Gu Yunting pressed the button in his hand, more than a dozen figures rushed in from outside the house. These more than 10 figures were very unusual, and each of them was a strong man. Some of them even held guns in their hands. All pointed at Li Chen. "Li Chen, you should never be too confident," Gu Yunting sneered, but he did not see the sarcasm flashing in the eyes of the woman in the red dress in the corner behind him. "You actually think you can take down Li Chen with a few broken guns?" The woman in the red dress had to wonder if the young master of the Dongfang family had found a mentally retarded teammate. Li Chen put down the goblet, patted his butt, and walked towards Gu Yunting. "Take it down." Gu Yunting was calm enough. With his order, the dozen people rushed over like vicious dogs. Li Chen didn't even look at it, and gently waved his right hand, and the dozen people were ejected like sandbags. After a series of bangs, these people fell to the ground with painful expressions. Instantly, Gu Yunting took out a gun, pointed it at Li Chen's forehead, and pulled the trigger without any hesitation. The spitting flames rushed to Li Chen's forehead with the bullet. Li Chen calmly stretched out 2 fingers, and under Gu Yunting's ghostly gaze, he easily clamped the bullet. Gu Yunting looked dazed, he didn't believe it, and pulled the trigger again. Bang bang bang. Li Chen frowned slightly, and flicked his right hand, and the bullet he had clamped was reflected and penetrated into Gu Yunting's leg. As for the bullets that were fired 3 times in a row, they were all suspended in front of his face and were knocked away by Li Chen's light flick of his finger. Gu Yunting groaned, fell to the ground with a look of horror, as if he had seen a ghost. His 3 views were severely impacted and overturned. Li Chen stood there, stretched his neck, and said to the woman in the red skirt, "I actually never understood what you Red Skulls want. I have already taken the initiative to avoid your grievances, why do you have to rush to get close to me? My parents are dead, don't you plan to let go?" The woman in the red skirt stared at Li Chen tightly, without saying a word, as if she was a mute. "You have been silent for such a long time and you started to take action as soon as I left Ljia village. Don't tell me that it was a sudden impulse," Li Chen said, "tell me, what do you want?" "I, Li Chen, will give you everything I can. Don't disturb my life, okay?" The woman in the red skirt was stunned. This was seriously inconsistent with her imagination. "Are you serious? Am I kidding you?" Li Chen spread his hands. "Did I care about the mess in the capital? You Red Skulls have repeatedly attacked me, did I care? I don't know what you are planning, and I am not interested in knowing. Really, I just want a wife and children to live in. Is this not too much to ask?" The woman in the red skirt was stunned. This was completely different from what she imagined. "Is this Li Chen? Li Chen, stop confusing us here. You Li family members are all the same," the woman in the red skirt snorted coldly, "the Li family is all treacherous." Li Chen sighed. "Is it wrong for me to have the last name Li?" You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami. Chapter 583. Until this moment, Li Chen realized that he had thought too much. He wanted to avoid these things, but some people might not let him avoid them. Take this time, Li Chen absolutely did not believe that they were improvising. That could only mean one thing: these people have been staring at him, and never gave up. Are my parents dead? Li Chen didn't know, but he guessed that they were probably not dead. Li Chen was speechless. The Li family was treacherous, and it was very unpleasant to hear this. Treacherous? That's my dad's treacherous, what does it have to do with me, Li Chen? Are you from the Red Skull? Li Chen said, why don't we talk openly? Just tell me what you want, I'll give it to you if I have it, and you guys are calculating, but it doesn't make much sense, right? The woman in the red skirt stared at Li Chen vigilantly, as if she had heard a big joke. Diamond suit. I'm serious. Li Chen raised his palm and said, you don't believe me? Hee hee. The woman in the red skirt sneered, if I believe you, 3 of the 8 guardians will not die. Li Chen said that he was very hurt. He was so pure, but someone thought he was treacherous. The affairs of the Li family's ancestors really have nothing to do with me. Li Chen said, why don't you go talk to my dad? Li Chen, is it interesting? The woman in the red skirt sneered, you are probably eager to catch us all in one fell swoop, right? Li Chen. Okay, then, tell me what you want. Li Chen spread his hands and said, I won't do anything to you, let's exchange information, how about it? If you don't tell me what you want, how can I make a judgment? The eyes of the woman in the red skirt were erratic. Look, I don't know what you want, and I was dragged into the water. Am I a big loss? Li Chen persuaded seriously. I have what I want, I will definitely give it to you, just ask you not to disturb my life. We want the fruit of immortality. I don't know if she really felt Li Chen's sincerity, so she said. What the hell? Li Chen widened his eyes. The woman in the red skirt frowned slightly and stared at Li Chen's eyes, wanting to see if he was pretending. Judging from Li Chen's reaction, the woman in the red skirt knew that Li Chen should not have lied. Longevity fruit? Do you think this is cultivation? Li Chen was speechless. This was the first time he heard of this thing. I'm sorry, you want me to sort it out? Li Chen waved his hand and said, you have been pursuing the longevity fruit? I'm really sorry, I really don't have this thing, I really didn't lie to you. As for what my father did before, or what information he released, it has absolutely nothing to do with me. Can you tell me what the longevity fruit is? Is it really the pursuit of immortality? Li Chen didn't believe that there was really such a thing as immortality in this world. After reaching the heavenly realm, Li Chen felt a bottleneck and should not be able to go up in a short time. The woman in the red skirt narrowed her eyes, not knowing what she was thinking. Since you know the name of the longevity fruit, you must know what it is, right? Li Chen asked. I only have a rebate system, which has nothing to do with the longevity fruit. What did my dad do that made others keep catching him? Murong Hungs, that old man, seems to be focusing on Xiaowu. Is Xiaowu the so-called immortal fruit? If that's the case, I have to be careful. If they really notice that Xiaowu is different, Xiaowu will be in danger. Li Chen may not care about the immortal fruit, but he will never allow others to hurt his daughter. If anyone dares to have such an idea, Li Chen will be the first to kill him. However, Li Chen still can't figure out what the meaning of Murong Hungs and his dad joining forces is. They had set up a bureau against him before, and he was killed by his mother once. After waking up, it seems that the system is on him. What's the meaning of this? Whose system is it? Did my dad get it? Or did I open it unconsciously? Or, it was originally from the Li family. What was the grand occasion of the Li family 150 years ago? Li Chen thought that if he hid, these shits wouldn't be able to find him, but now it seems that he thought too much. Could it be that Xiaowu is really the immortal fruit they are talking about? Li Chen's mind changed. He was really not interested in fighting with this beautiful lady just now, but now, he was ready to kill her. Swish. The red sleeves were flying all over the sky, with the sound of the wind, and they went straight to Li Chen's face and heart. Gu Yunting, who fell to the ground, had a pale face and covered his wound tightly to bandage himself, otherwise he would bleed and go into shock. As for what Li Chen and the woman in red said just now, he didn't understand it at all, but it didn't stop him from remembering it. Li Chen sneered, you have been waiting for me to be distracted so that you can take the opportunity to kill me. The woman in red sneered. No one in the Li family believed what she said. It would be stupid if you believed it yourself. Bang. The two of them collided with each other, and Li Chen showed a touch of surprise. This woman is so strong, and she is actually in the middle stage of the heavenly man realm. Suddenly, Li Chen's hair stood on end, and he felt a strong sense of crisis. Almost in an instant, a blade of light came slashing, and at the same time, 4 figures appeared at the same time. Li Chen's face changed drastically, all of them were in the heavenly man realm. Is this a setup? 5, no, 6 heavenly man realm. 2 in the middle heavenly man realm, 4 in the early heavenly man realm. Li Chen coughed and spat out a mouthful of blood. The surroundings were blocked. 6 powerful men came to kill him. They really looked up to him. Li Chen guaranteed that he had seen the 5 people who came later for the first time. The aura was very strong. Ninja? Are you from Fuzhou? Li Chen looked at the short man wearing a mask, dressed in black, and dressed in standard style. 6 Heavenly Man Realm, they want to kill him, Li Chen. The woman in the red skirt shouted coldly, don't listen to this guy's slick words, kill. The other 5 frowned slightly, and they wanted to ask a few more questions. Li Chen spat out another mouthful of blood and said, what? 6 masters besieged me, and you think I can still escape? Then you think highly of me. Red Lady, one of the burly men, said, just as he said, if he can run away when surrounded by 6 heavenly realm masters, are you sure you can kill him now? The woman in the red skirt frowned slightly. Although she said so, it would be a big deal if she delayed. But she also knew that they were just cooperating, not in a superior-subordinate relationship, so it was normal for these people not to trust her. Li Chen covered his chest and said, I just want to die with a clear mind. I have been kept in the dark from the beginning to the end. Can anyone give me an explanation? What did the Li family do to you? What is the immortal fruit? What does it have to do with it? Do you have any connection with the major families in the capital? Li Chen, showing weakness to the enemy is not your way, one of the slender figures said, you want to get some information. Li Chen smiled bitterly, yes, I do want to get some information. At least let me be a clear ghost, right? He took out the spare medicine and threw it directly into his mouth. Seeing this, the 5 masters were relieved. Li Chen was really injured. It seems that the combat power of the heavenly realm is also limited. The woman in the red skirt felt uneasy. Li Chen was not the kind of person who waited for death. Kill him. Red Lady, you are so anxious to kill me, are you afraid that I will tell them useful information? Li Chen said to the woman in the red skirt. As soon as these words were spoken, the 5 men looked at Hong Niangzi with strange expressions. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 584. Hong Niang secretly called him a fool, but she was helpless. She knew that the Li family was a liar. He should not have been allowed to speak. Even though everyone knew that Li Chen was trying to sow discord, no one had to believe it. Li Chen said with a bitter look on his face, whatever you want to know, I will tell you everything. Hong Niang and I had a good chat just now, but I didn't expect that she wanted to kill me first. Didn't you discuss it together? Hong Niang cursed secretly. This group of people stared at Hong Niang unkindly, and Li Chen smiled immediately. Are these people really stupid? Not stupid, but because there are many sensitive things involved, they have to think more. Everyone originally formed a temporary alliance. To put it bluntly, there is really no trust. What if your Red Skull organization really gets some new information? Once Li Chen dies, won't everyone be in trouble? Don't listen to his nonsense. He just talked a lot to me just now, just to confuse the audience, and now it's even more so. Lady Hong was a little annoyed. The other 5 people didn't answer, and no one knew what they were thinking at the moment. Li Chen took a deep breath and said, everyone, I really don't know what longevity fruit you want, but what I know is that the Red Skull has been staring at our Li family for a long time. Our Li family has gone from prosperity to destruction, and now only my grandfather and I are left, all thanks to them. Even I, a direct descendant, don't know what the longevity fruit is. Why do they know it so clearly? Haven't you thought about it? Shut up, Lady Hong was anxious. If Li Chen really let this mouth continue, then this alliance will collapse. The 6 people joined forces and could definitely kill Li Chen, but once someone let go, they might die. The late stage of the heavenly man realm is not absolutely invincible. Look, she's anxious. Li Chen's momentum was rising, and he said, so, Red Skull definitely knows more than we know. Ahem. The Fuzu ninja coughed and said, this guy talks too much. Let's take him down first and then slowly interrogate him. After this, Hong Niangzi breathed a sigh of relief. Finally there was someone who understood. Li Chen narrowed his eyes and stared at the Fuzu master and said, I don't care who they are, but you, a little bastard, are so presumptuous in front of me. Boom. Li Chen's momentum suddenly burst out, and he punched the Fuzu ninja. He can ignore the other masters, but every Fuzu person is not a good person. Although he has not had much contact with the martial arts world and the inspection department, he also knows that the inspection department will never let the Tianren realm masters from Fuzu pass through easily. This guy appeared here, most of them were smuggling. Baga, the short ninja snorted coldly, and actually attacked him. Who? Suddenly, Hong Niangzi's face changed drastically. Hong Niangzi, long time no see. At this moment, a figure wearing black armor and a blue dragon mask smiled outside the high-altitude window. Inspection Division, Qinglong. At this moment, not only Hong Niangzi's face changed drastically, but the rest of the people were also not calm. Behind this man with the Qinglong mask, there were 10 strong men, 3 in the heaven realm and 8 in the half-step heaven realm. This force, plus Qinglong and Li Chen, was enough to keep them. Hong Niangzi cursed in anger, stupid, I told you a long time ago, don't listen to this guy. At this moment, how could she not understand that she and others had been tricked? Hong Niangzi thought that this trick would lure the enemy deep into the ground, and then catch the turtle in the jar, and she was already standing in the atmosphere. But how could she know that Li Chen was more treacherous than she thought? He actually joined forces with the inspection division to set up a game within the game, and just said a lot of nonsense, just to delay the situation. Li Chen grinned, are you surprised? Are you surprised? Beikalu. You're dead today, Li Chen sneered and said in the tone of the Fuzu ninja. Suppress. The pressure of the late stage of the heavenly man realm is not something you, a little baka in the early stage of the heavenly man realm, can resist. You dare to provoke me on my Chinese territory, you are really tired of living. The sharp sword light slashed, and at the same time, there were flying hidden weapons. But they were all blocked by Li Chen lightly. Li Chen punched, and the Fuzu ninja's eyes flashed with fierce light, and the 2 swords were unsheathed, the extreme double sword flow. Clang! Li Chen punched, and hit the back of the 2 swords hard, and the figure of the Fuzu ninja crashed into a wall. With a bang, his body instantly disappeared from the spot, invisibility. Li Chen sneered, pressed one hand on the empty position, and a muffled groan came. Little bastard, still want to escape. Li Chen ignored the others, he believed that the people from the inspection department should be able to handle it. Qinglong, are you really going to attack us? Can your inspection department bear this responsibility? Noisy, the man wearing the Qinglong mask, snorted coldly and suppressed 2 mid-stage Tianren realm masters with one hand. Gu Yunding huddled in the corner, his eyes wide open. The scene in front of him was something he had never seen in his life. Seeing Li Chen flying in the air, Gu Yunding's face was dazed. Especially when Li Chen punched the top master from Fuzang, Gu Yunding fell into deep despair. Is this what the real world looks like? He suddenly felt like he had lived his whole life in vain. He thought that the Gu family was the best of the best and the real masters of the world. But in the end, he found that it didn't seem to be the case. The Gu family was just a big family with a little financial resources and usefulness in the eyes of this group of people. That's all. When Li Chen returned, 2 of the 5 masters had escaped, and the other 3 were captured. Li Chen frowned slightly. This time, the inspection department sent out 11 strong men, but they couldn't even capture 5 of them. Qinglong said, Mr. Li, thank you very much. After the interrogation, the information will be shared with you. Happy cooperation. Li Chen shook hands and said nothing more, watching Qinglong lead people away. The 2 mid-stage Tianren realm escaped. Did Qinglong really not keep them, or did he do it on purpose? Or was the inspection department fishing? Li Chen couldn't help but think too much for a while. Looking at the messy surroundings, he waved his arm, and the powerful force made these things slowly recover. Gu Yunding was caught in front of Li Chen. His psychological defenses were broken. When his worldview collapsed, his faith also collapsed. Gu family, just a pawn. Gu Yunding looked at Li Chen with fear and terror. Because he knew very well that not only himself, but also the entire Gu family, should not be qualified to provoke this person. Gu Yunding, do you want to live? Gu Yunding trembled, he didn't want to die yet. Tell me, if you satisfy me, I will spare your life. Li Chen sat down and stared at Gu Yunding quietly. It was the one from the Dongfang family who asked me to test him. I really don't know the rest. He just said that I should try to take down Murong Shui as much as possible. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 585. A rich man like Gu Yunding has never been a tough guy. Therefore, Li Chen's interrogation was naturally not difficult at all. After asking questions, Li Chen had already left. As for Gu Yunding's life or death, he didn't really care. After giving Gu Yunding a shot in the leg, at least he wouldn't be able to jump around for a while. Fortunately, Gu Yunding was not stupid. After Li Chen left, he immediately called the emergency number, otherwise he might not be able to save his leg. Moreover, Gu Yunding did not go to a public hospital, but a private hospital related to the Gu family. When Gu Yunding's father, Gu Qingfeng, arrived, Gu Yunding was still undergoing surgery. Gu Qingfeng had a gloomy face and did not attack immediately. My son. Guo Yunding's mother, Guo Renfang, followed closely behind. When I heard that my son had entered the emergency operating room, I almost fainted with fright. Gu Qingfeng grabbed his wife and asked her to calm down. Who on earth wants to harm my son? Guo Renfang's eyes turned red. Her son couldn't bear to beat or scold him at all. Who did it? Gu Qingfeng pursed his lips and said nothing. He still knew some of his son's virtues. Moreover, Gu Qingfeng could tell one thing or two just from making the call to the hospital. He was sent here because he hoped to hide certain things. Otherwise, he would never be able to send him here. Soon, the door to the emergency operating room opened. Guo Renfang stood up immediately. Doctor, how is my Yunding doing? The bullet has been removed. It's not a serious problem at all. I just need to rest quietly, the doctor said. Having just finished this minor operation, it was relatively easy. Bullet. When Guo Renfang heard this, his expression suddenly changed. The doctor nodded. This topic is a bit sensitive and not suitable for further discussion. Gu Qingfeng on the side naturally heard it. After thanking the doctor, he watched Gu Yunding being sent to the best ward. Guo Renfang looked at Gu Qingfeng with a complicated expression, and did not dare to cause trouble at this time. It wasn't until Gu Yunding was arranged that the couple entered the ward. On the bed, Gu Yunding's face was pale and his eyes were dull. Yunding. Guo Renfang sensed something was wrong with her son and immediately burst into tears. But Gu Yunding, who was lying on the bed, didn't react at all, as if he didn't sense anything. Guo Renfang became even more anxious and looked at her husband for help. Gu Qingfeng frowned, then walked to Gu Yunding's side and said in a deep voice, "Who did it?" After a long time, Gu Yunding came back to his senses and said, "It's not important anymore." Guo Renfang's whole body was trembling. His son was injured like this, so it wasn't important? Tell me, what's going on? Gu Qingfeng spoke again. Dad, I want to rest, Gu Yunding said weakly and slowly closed his eyes. Gu Qingfeng and Guo Renfang were speechless. This was the first time that they felt helpless, and it was also the first time that they realized that their son didn't want to take revenge, which was abnormal. Could it be that the person who took action this time was something that even Yunding couldn't handle? Or are you worried that the Gu family will be targeted? Gu Qingfeng patted his wife on the shoulder, quietly left the room, and took out his mobile phone. Check for me, where did Yunting go today? What did he do? An hour later, Gu Qingfeng's cell phone rang, and there were detailed descriptions and some videos on it. After he read it, he started checking again, and it took him a long time to get accurate information. Li Chen? Rong Cheng. Gu Qingfeng frowned. Is this Rong Cheng in Jiangnan province? Li Chen's information also appeared in front of him. It had no characteristics. His parents were dead. He was now living in a mountain village with his grandfather. He was somewhat popular on the internet. It is said that he took revenge, killed all the people who forced the Li family to death, and made Rongcheng the Li family's base camp again. It is indeed quite good to do such a thing at this age. At least, there are not many young people who can do what he does. Not only that, but the assets under his control seem to be tens of billions. Is it just like this? Gu Qingfeng still didn't believe it. Able to kill back in a short time, does this young man only have this little background? Soon, a new piece of news came into view. Gong family. Gu Qingfeng narrowed his eyes. This is the super big family in Jiangnan. Even such a big family is in trouble? Are the great masters of martial arts supporting you? Gu Qingfeng understood. Behind this Li Chen should be a great master of martial arts, or even a heavenly being. Uncle Gu. Exist. Help me check, who is the person behind the Gong family? The old man on the side said, Wu Chuping, in the early stage of the heaven-human realm. Gu Qingfeng's face suddenly sank. The Wu family in the heavenly realm. Li Chen dares to move. Uncle Gu means that Li Chen doesn't even pay attention to the realm of heaven and human beings. The old man said, the Gong family was abolished by Wu Chuping. He seems to be helping Li Chen. So, this Li Chen's background is based on the Tianren realm of Jiangnan. Gu Qingfeng pondered, this is indeed troublesome. However, now that Gu Qingfeng had figured out the details of Li Chen, he felt much more at ease. No wonder Gu Yunting didn't want to mention this matter. No other family would dare to offend a powerful person in the heavenly realm. Yunting. Don't worry, Dad will help you get back the injustice you suffered. Dad. Gu Yunting's face suddenly changed. Don't take revenge, I'm fine. Gu Qingfeng was very pleased that his son had grown up, but as a father, there were some things that had to be done. Don't worry, your father understands your concerns and is very glad that you can be sensible. No, Dad. Gu Yunting thought of the scene where the master was beaten by Li Chen, and said, let's not provoke him, okay. Gu Qingfeng frowned. His son was not cautious, but was scared. Okay, you take a rest first, I'll take care of the rest. Dad. Believe in your dad. The Gu family has gone through so many ups and downs for so many years, and he has never made a mistake. Guo Renfang pressed Gu Yunting. The son has become like this, if he doesn't get back at the place, where will the face of the Gu family be in the future? Mom. Murongxiu looked at Xiao, who had become fatter, and pinched her chubby little face. Do you miss Xiao? Of course. Murongxiu smiled. Li Bu sat on Murongshue's legs and began to shake his head. Be gentle. Murongshue quickly grabbed Xiao Wu. If she continued to shake like this, she might lose her legs. Hee. Li Bu opened her fleshy arms and said, hug me. No, it's so hot. No, I want a hug. Li Bu began to shake again. Okay, just hug me. Murongshue had no choice but to let this naughty boy hug her. Suddenly, Li Bu sniffed. Then he suddenly broke away from Murongshue's arms and looked at Murongshue seriously. What's wrong? Murongshue asked in confusion. At this time, Li Donglong and Li Nanfei, who were playing with the little tiger, looked over. Mom's funeral smells like poop. Murongshue. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 586. Li Donglong and Li Nanfei looked at each other strangely, and Li Zifeng laughed. Murong Shui felt a little uncomfortable being stared at by the three children, so she quickly pinched Li Biwa's cheek to prevent her from speaking. You. Li Biwa was forced to hug Mama, unable to continue talking. What are you looking at? Murong Shui stared, her pretty face turned pink, as if she was wearing blush. She couldn't help but sniff her clothes gently, but she didn't smell anything at all. How did Xiao Wu smell it? Boom. Who is it? Li Zifeng immediately became alert and asked. It's me. Hearing the sound, Li Biwu immediately woke up from lying on Murong Shui. Daddy, Li Biwu's eyes flickered, very bright. Li Chen smiled and brought a lot of things from outside. Li Biwu immediately slipped off Murong Shui's legs and rushed over. Papa, Xiao Wu, help you, Li Biwu said, licking his lips with bright eyes, it smells so good. Murong Shui. Li Zifeng. Li Donglong and Li Nanfei couldn't help but shake their heads. Foodies are really stupid. Only Li Chen smiled happily. Is this little girl's sense of smell really born for food? Li Biwu made a sound and almost fell to the ground. Holding back his red face, he picked up the bag again. Shall I help you? Li Zifeng asked tentatively. No, Li Biwu refused very simply. When it came to food, she never asked others for help, for fear that her sister would steal the food. Li Zifeng. After much effort, Li Biwu finally followed Li Chen, placed a heavy bag of food on the edge of the table, and looked at Li Chen for help. Obviously, she couldn't put food on the table. Murong Shui was speechless. Why did she give birth to such a snack? After putting the bag on the table, Murong Shui picked up Li Biwu again. Mama, I'll send you some seeds. Li Biwu looked at Murong Shui seriously. Ha ha ha. Li Nanfei and Li Donglong couldn't bear it any longer. Murong Shui's pretty face was livid, and she slapped Li Biwu's butt hard. This little foodie is so cruel that he even gives up his mother, whom he hasn't seen for a long time, just for food. Go on your way. Murong Shui sadly put Li Biwu aside. She was too lazy to hug the chubby girl. Li Biwu didn't notice any trace of sadness in his old mother. It really affected my performance by letting mom hug me. Li Chen was also quite helpless and sat beside Murong Shui by the way, not caring about the three pairs of big light bulb eyes of Li Donglong, Li Zifeng, and Li Nanfei. Shui, Grandpa prepared this for you. It includes your favorite dishes and fried fish pieces. Li Chen said softly, while taking out all the delicacies he had prepared. There is almost no room for it on the table. Murong Shui was very moved when she saw so much food and several bags of fruits and snacks behind. Thank you, Grandpa, Murong Shui said softly. In Murong's house, Murong Shui did not feel this kind of affection and concern. Now, everything Li Chuanlong did seemed to be making up for her family, which made her feel very uncomfortable. Here, let's eat. Li Chen took the initiative to pick up the chopsticks and prepared to feed Murong Shui. Murong Shui was about to open her mouth subconsciously, but suddenly she glared at Li Chen with a blushing face and raised her eyebrows. Li Chen turned to look at his three children who were looking at him with relish, and said, "What are you looking at? Eat, are you going to let me feed them?" Tisk tisk. Hiss. Huh. Murong Shui's face turned even redder. Even an old mother couldn't stand her children staring at her like this. Especially since these three little guys were making strange noises and looking playfully, she couldn't stand it even more. What are you looking at? Don't go to sleep tonight. Murong Shui blushed and looked embarrassed, showing off her majesty as a mother. Ahem, cough, cough. Li Donglong coughed and said, "Come on, my dear brother, please introduce me this time." Grandpa will prepare it for you. Murong Shue's veins popped out and she clenched her fists. Ah, dear brother, my great-grandpa prepared this for you too. He misses you so much. Li Zifeng also picked up a piece of fish and said in a coquettish voice. Li Nanfei opened his mouth with a shy look on his face, then why are you embarrassed? Ah, eldest brother, second sister, you are so kind to me. Li Chen's face turned dark, and Murong Shue shouted directly. He twisted the collars of Li Donglong and Li Zifeng with both hands and said, it seems you have eaten too much. Come on, squat against the wall for me. Li Donglong. Li Zifeng. Mom, I suddenly remembered that I still haven't memorized my lines. Li Nanfei was about to run away. Oh, Murong Shue sneered and kicked Li Nanfei on the butt, then stand here and memorize all the lines for me. Li Nanfei. What? As a mother, my words are useless, Murong Shue snorted coldly. No. Mom. Back, your dad and I are listening. Murong Shue sat down, her tone unquestionable. Li Nanfei was dumbfounded and looked at his eldest brother and second sister fiercely. You guys want to watch the show, it's over now. Dad. The three of them looked at Li Chen for help. Li Chen took out a small electric fan and handed it to Murong Shue. Shue, it's hot, let's eat while enjoying the breeze, open your mouth. The three of them lowered their heads together, and it turned out that their father, who forgot his loyalty for the sake of beauty, was unreliable. Huff. Li Biwu raised her head suddenly, with tears hanging from the corners of her eyes, and said, broken, broken. Murong Shue rolled her eyes and quickly took out a tissue to wipe the tears from Xiao Wu's mouth. Li Chen poured a glass of cold water on the side. Li Biwu immediately drank it up, and then looked at Li Chen and Murong Shue with a smile. Just as she was about to continue eating, she suddenly asked in surprise, where are the big pots? Murong Shue. Are there really nothing else in your eyes except food? It turns out that you were completely deaf to what was happening outside the window just now. Li Chen pointed at Li Donglong and Li Zifeng, who were squatting against the wall outside, and Li Biwu's eyes lit up immediately and said, are they doing something stupid? Why don't you go ask them? Li Chen urged. Li Biwu immediately smiled, okay, okay. Then he slid down the chair. Xiao, wait a minute. Yeah, Li Biwu tilted her head and looked at Li Chen. Bring some food over. Li Chen pointed at the food on the table. Li Biwu's eyes widened. Daddy liked Xiao so much, so he nodded his head, grabbed some food in one hand, and ran to the two siblings who were being punished outside. As for Li Nanfei, he huddled in the corner, watching the fun with his eyes rolling. Did Dad let Xiao eat by herself just now? Or did he let Xiao eat while craving for her elder brother and second sister? The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 587. Cauldron. Li Donglong looked at the little girl with oily hands and kept eating while calling her. Li Biwu tilted his little head, his mouth full of the smell of food, and approached Li Donglong. What's wrong with you? Facing the stupid sister's pure eyes, Li Donglong coughed and said, Big pot, I ate too much and am exercising. Li Biwu's little body trembled, and she looked at Li Donglong with admiration. Hey, the cauldron is so powerful, Xiao Wu has just eaten, and she is not full yet. As he said that, he gnawed on another chicken drumstick, and his mouth was full of fragrance. Li Donglong licked his lips and looked straight at the chicken drumstick in Li Biwu's hand. Li Zifeng on the side looked at the ceiling. I couldn't see anything. I couldn't see anything. Li Biwu has a magical power in eating. Even if she looks at something unappetizing, when it comes to her mouth, it will look like something made by a five-star chef. Li Biwu looked at Li Zifeng, who was looking at the ceiling. Second sister, are you practicing? What about you, Rura? Li Biwu asked again, chewing a large piece of chicken, and his mouth was full of oil. Gilug. Li Zifeng's stomach growled. Second sister, your stomach is growling. I don't. Obviously your stomach growled just now, Li Biwu said seriously. Li Zifeng gritted her teeth and said, I didn't. Yes, yes, Li Biwu came to Li Donglong's side, pointed at Li Donglong with the chicken drumstick he had chewed several times, and said, ask the big pot. Smell good. Li Donglong became even more greedy when he saw that the chicken drumstick held by the stupid sister was right next to his mouth. At this time, as long as he opens his mouth, he can bite off a piece of meat. To bite or not to bite? Li Donglong was a little confused. Let's take a bite, since Xiao Wu still has something to eat. Li Donglong opened his mouth, and at this moment, Li Biwu turned around and subconsciously retracted the chicken legs. Looking at Li Donglong with a wary expression, Li Biwu took a step back and said, Big Guo, do you want to do it? Li Donglong's face was full of embarrassment, and he wanted to find a hole in the ground to crawl into. Damn, just a little bit. Ahem. Li Donglong opened his mouth again and said, I'm yawning. Is it true? Li Biwu was dubious. Why do I think that the big pot man misses me, Rura? Your guess is correct, but will I admit it to your brother? Li Donglong said with a righteous look on his face, Husuo, am I wearing that kind of silver? Li Biwu hesitated for a moment, then nodded decisively. Goose. Li Nanfei, who was huddled in the corner, couldn't help but laugh like a goose while holding the script. Li Donglong wanted to die, and Li Zifeng on the side also cast a look of disgust. Brother, it's enough for you to do what you do. Li Chen, who was sitting at the table, almost choked to death. Each of these children was more troublesome than the other. However, he didn't show up either, so it would be nice to let these two little guys have some memory. Murong Shui ate very elegantly and carefully. These are all made by Grandpa Li Chuanlong. Each dish has two flavors, one is spicy and the other is not spicy. Although Li Nanfei is young, he likes spicy food. Is it delicious? Li Chen asked, looking at Murong Shui's perfect face. Yes, Murong Shui nodded slightly and only ate a little of each dish. If it's delicious, eat more, Li Chen said distressedly. Murong Shui shook her head and said with a confused look on her face, if you eat more, you will gain weight. If you gain weight, it will not look good on camera in the future. In the entertainment industry, actresses are often quite harsh. Actors can gain weight, but actresses cannot. Once you gain weight, your career will basically be gone. So, they had to exercise restraint. Li Chen said softly, it's okay. If you get fat, you will get fat. Our family is not short of money. Murong Shui glared at Li Chen. Eat more, Li Chen said, in the worst case, I will recuperate your body and make a weight loss drug at the same time, so that you won't have any burden. Murong Shui's eyes widened, can it still be like this? Of course, don't you still believe me? Li Chen smiled. Then let me believe you. Murong Shui smiled sweetly and licked her lips, I really didn't eat well just now. Li Chen couldn't laugh or cry. The little guys didn't do it on purpose. Why don't we let them in and have some food? After Murong Shui took several more bites, Li Chen reminded him. Murong Shui snorted, poked Li Chen's heart with her slender fingers and said, are you feeling distressed now? No, no. Li Chen took advantage of the situation and held Murong Shui's little hand, and said tenderly, I only love you. Even though she knew that Li Chen was lying to her, Murong Shui still felt it was sweet. Okay, okay, I know you love them, let them come and eat. Murong Shui nodded. Li Chen immediately stood up and walked towards the door. Xiao Wu. Li Chen was completely stunned and said, what are you doing? Li Biwu sat on the ground, holding a plate. Seeing Li Chen coming, he immediately said happily, Daddy. Looking at Li Donglong and Li Zifeng again, they were speechless. Are these two guys trying to trick Xiao Wu into eating? Xiao Wu actually returned it? Dad, burp, Li Donglong burped, looking shy and embarrassed. Li Chen sighed helplessly, I want to save you. You tricked your sister into eating? Sure, Murong Shue's voice sounded, holding two plates in her hands, her pretty face was cold. Mom, Li Donglong and Li Zifeng were stunned. Since you are full, then continue squatting, and we'll talk about it in 2 hours. Murong Shue turned and left. Mom, don't. Li Chen sighed, waved to Li Biwu, and said, I can't save you this time. Dad, hiccup. Xiaofei, come and eat. Okay. Li Nanfei was overjoyed, he was almost dying of greed just now. Damn, Xiao Wu didn't feed me. Li Nanfei secretly thanked the little fool for not feeding him, otherwise he would be dead. Come, these are all yours, Murong Shue said. Li Nanfei glanced at his eldest brother and second sister, and the eyes of the two looked like they wanted to kill him. Thank you, Mom, you are so nice. Li Donglong. Li Zifeng. This is a traitor. 3 pots. Ah. I'll give you one. I don't want it, I have one. You're one. I'm so annoyed, I'll just eat one bite. What should I do if I really want to beat this brother to death? Li Donglong gritted his teeth, is this what a human would say? Li Zifeng took a deep breath, there is always a chance to ravage the third brother, no rush. Murong Shue wiped her mouth and couldn't help burping. Buzz. The phone vibrated. Murong Shue took her phone and saw that the note was Ning Sisi, and a smile appeared on her face. Hello, Sisi. Shue, long time no see, I heard that you made a comeback, I've been so busy recently, I just got the news. A happy voice sounded on the phone. Yes, I just made a comeback. Murong Shue's eyes flickered slightly, where are you? I'm in the film and television city, how about you? Ning Sisi asked. Same. That's great, Ning Sisi said happily, by the way, Shue, there will be a banquet at the Four Seasons Hotel tomorrow night. Can you come? The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 588. Murong Xiu said a little embarrassedly, I have to shoot tomorrow. We won't start until the evening, Ning Sisi said, okay, Shue, just come. The people attending the banquet this time are all celebrities. Not only that, well-known directors and actors will appear. Once you miss it, it will be difficult to attend a banquet of this level in the future. I am the first one who thought of you. Didn't you just come back? If you make friends with these people, your future will be easier. Even Li Chen, who was sitting next to him, could hear how eager the lady on the phone was to attend this banquet. Li Chen was not familiar with the name Ning Sisi. For Murong Xiu, he still knew some people in the current entertainment industry, which meant that this actress was not even a first-line star. It was no wonder why she wanted to attend so much. Once you attend a banquet of this level, even if you really don't make any connections, it can at least let her show her face. If you are lucky enough to be recognized by these people, then you may become popular today. Murong Shue was somewhat helpless, as this was a friend she had known for a long time. They all debuted at almost the same time, were not very old, and had similar interests. Later, Murong Shue gradually became popular, and became the most popular Jade Girl leader in the entertainment industry with Dongfang Yaoking. And this Ning Sisi is still struggling in the 18th line. Although they have less contact, the relationship is still good. There is another person who is on good terms with her and Ning Sisi, named Kai Yu. Her temperament is more Buddhist than Murong Shue and Ning Sisi. She is the kind of person who will take a role if there is a role, and doesn't care if there is no role. She is an outlier in the entertainment industry, not fighting or competing. She has a relatively good relationship with Murong Shue and Ning Sisi. They have occasionally contacted each other over the years, but not often. To a certain extent, Murong Shue and Ning Sisi are better, Ning Sisi and Kaiyu are better, but Murong Shui and Kaiyu don't have too many words. Then, what about Kaiyu? Murong Shui still asked. She naturally had concerns. During the years of her secret marriage and retirement, Ning Sisi had hardly contacted her. On the contrary, Kaiyu had contacted her, but both of them only cared about each other's status and never talked about the entertainment industry. This was also related to Kaiyu's personality. So, Murongxiu mentioned it more at this moment. Ning Sisi hesitated and said, I haven't contacted her yet. If I do, I will definitely notify her. Shuer, come and accompany me. Murongxiu pondered for a moment and said, okay then. He, I knew that Shuer was the best. Ning Sisi smiled and said, I'll go wash up first. See you tomorrow night. Okay. After hanging up the phone, Murongxiu fell silent. What's wrong? Li Chen asked. In fact, he also saw something. Some things will change over time. Murongxiu smiled bitterly. Although Ning Sisi's performance just now was not much different from before, she still noticed something strange. Ning Sisi said that she just knew that she had made a comeback. How could this be possible? Besides, Kaiyu is here too. Murongxiu contacted Kaiyu 2 days ago, and according to Kaiyu, after she retired, Ning Sisi made great efforts to catch up and achieved her current status. She had not contacted Kaiyu for a long time. So, after such a long time of disconnection, Murongxiu suddenly came to her. She was not a fool. However, she still did not want to believe that the original true feelings would deteriorate. In that case, then go and see it with your own eyes. Li Chen held her little hand and said, see clearly, it's good for you. Yeah, Murongxiu nodded. If Ning Sisi had no other thoughts, she would not mind helping this good sister. But if she had other thoughts, then she could only break up. She had experienced the intrigues in the entertainment industry a long time ago, but some feelings were not easy after all, and it was not a good thing to destroy them so easily. At this moment, Li Chen's phone rang. Mr. Li. Nangong Hengchuo, Li Chen smiled, how did you find time to call me? Did I bother Mr. Li? Nangong Hengchuo smiled, a little embarrassed. No. Li Chen shook his head slightly. Nangong Hengchuo breathed a sigh of relief and said, Mr. Li, after we old immortals were saved by you last time, didn't someone come to your door? They begged to see you, even if it meant losing everything, just hoping that you could help them. Speaking of this, Nangong Hengchuo said again, of course, I didn't reveal your information. Are you in Zhongchen now? Yes. Li Chen smiled and said, you mean, someone wants to see me through your relationship? Yes, Nangong Hengchuo said, they are all top-notch wealthy people with extraordinary family backgrounds. Of course, some of them are secretly supported by us. The martial arts world cannot intervene openly, so we used to use this method. Li Chen expressed his understanding. Isn't that the case with the Gong family? When? Li Chen asked. Tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, Li Chen frowned slightly. It's like this, these people are all celebrities, and the interests behind them are amazing. We, the old guys in the martial arts world, are their backers. They have a strong reputation in the outside world and the secular world, so tomorrow night we will personally receive you here and hold a welcome dinner for you. Is that so? Li Chen nodded and said, I can't delay too long tomorrow night, I have to accompany my wife. That's for sure, I know. Nangong Hengchuo said, then I'll pick you up tomorrow night. Okay. Li Chen hung up the phone with a smile. At the beginning, he pulled Nangong Hengchuo and others back from the brink of death and promoted them. There were few people in the martial arts world who didn't envy him. He didn't find it strange that they found him through Nangong Hengchuo. What's wrong? Murong Shui asked. Someone in the martial arts world found me through Nangong Hengchuo and hoped that I would help him tomorrow night, Li Chen explained. Murong Shui immediately understood Li Chen's concerns and smiled. It's okay, then you go and do your own thing. It's okay for me to take Sci-fi to the banquet. I will try my best to finish my work and come to you, Li Chen said. Okay, Murong Shui smiled happily. Li Chen always cared about her and put her first, and she was very satisfied. Zhangcheng Four Seasons Hotel. After Ning Sisi hung up the phone, the smile on her face disappeared. Her knuckles were slightly white from clenching her fists. Murong Shui. Ning Sisi took a deep breath, looked at the bustling city with a firm gaze, and murmured to herself, one day, I will become the brightest star, and I will be like you, Murong Shui, sought after by thousands of people, and I can decide my own destiny. Dong dong. Who? Ning Sisi looked at the door. It's me. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 589. Ning Sisi was a little crazy looking at the handsome face of the man at the door. What? Miss Ning isn't going to invite me in to sit for a while, the man smiled, and his smile was very cordial. There was a hint of gentleness in her warm voice, which made Ning Sisi couldn't help but blush slightly. Even if she is at her peak, she still needs to look up to him. Please come in. Ning Sisi immediately stepped aside to give up her position, and the man walked in. After taking a look inside the room, the man smiled and said, Miss Ning's living environment is so simple. I feel sorry for you. The two sat down. I wonder if Miss Ning invited Murong Shui. The man leaned back slightly and leaned on the sofa, his voice always calm. Mentioning Murong Shui, a hint of jealousy flashed in Ning Sisi's eyes, and soon a smile appeared on her face. Don't worry, Murong Shui and I are sisters, and we are relatively simple. She already agreed. Hearing this, the man's face flashed with joy. Ning Sisi couldn't help but said, I didn't know you invited her here. She was a little undecided for a moment and felt a little uneasy. The man stood up, leaned over and looked at Ning Sisi's pretty face, and said, What? Miss Ning is worried that I will fall in love with her. Ning Sisi showed a contemptuous smile, but she was beating a drum inside. Just when she was thinking about this, Ning Sisi suddenly found that her lips were covered by someone. List. Do not talk. There was a storm in the house. For a long time. Ning Sisi snuggled into the man's arms, a flush appearing on her pretty face. You are bad. Then do you like it? The man smiled. Yeah, Ning Sisi nodded, feeling like she was surrounded by happiness. The relationship between the two suddenly became closer, which also gave Ning Sisi the courage to ask questions. Come here to find Murong Shui. Are you jealous of her? The man asked, staring into Ning Sisi's eyes. Ning Sisi's mind trembled slightly, she quickly covered it up and said with a look of dissatisfaction, What are you talking about? Shui and I have been friends for more than 10 years, how could I be jealous? Aren't you really jealous? The man looked playfully, pinched Ning Sisi's chin and said, Your eyes can't deceive me, you are jealous, very jealous. The atmosphere in the room was a little strange for a while. Ning Sisi stared at the man in front of her for a long time, then asked tentatively, Don't you want to make friends with her? Making friends, the man sneered, I wish she would fall from the clouds into the abyss, I wish she would die together with her bitch man. Ning Sisi couldn't help but shiver. She felt a strong sense of hatred from the other party. This kind of hatred is 1,000 times stronger than hers. At this moment, Ning Sisi's uneasy heart calmed down. She knew that her worries were unnecessary. The other party was definitely not trying to please or befriend Murong Shui. I hate her too. At this moment, Ning Sisi seemed to have found an ally, and said in a serious tone, Why can Murong Shui become the top class without working hard? Why can she be favored by thousands of people with her face? Why is she still at her peak after her comeback even after 10 years of absence? Ning Cixi no longer hides her inner emotions, she is jealous, crazy jealous. I have worked hard for so many years, but I have just touched the threshold of the front line. However, she was really unwilling to do so. Is he really that much worse than Murong Shui? She doesn't believe it. The man gently hugged Ning Cixi and said, "Don't worry, as long as Murong Shui comes tomorrow, she won't be able to control you from now on. She might even have to be your co-star in a movie in the future." Hearing this, Ning Cixi's heart beat wildly. Really? Of course it's true, the man chuckled, and the resentment flashed in his eyes. Tomorrow you will know how much power and capital the people attending this banquet have. As for Murong Shui and his soft-fed husband, they will have to kneel if the time comes. Thinking of this scene, both of them breathed a little quickly. Ning Cixi was already feeling hot inside. But what? Ning Cixi asked. If you want them to support you and support you behind your back, you have to give something. Ning Cixi frowned slightly. She suddenly felt sick when she thought of those fat-bellied capitalists. Don't worry, they are all pretty good, it's just that they are a bit too big. The man explained, if you don't want to go to the next level, you can refuse. Anyway, some people recommend themselves to be pillow seats. Ning Cixi's pretty face was ugly. She couldn't believe that the man in front of her would say such a thing. Ning Cixi knew that some people had weird hobbies, and she had also heard of many people being tortured and maimed. She was struggling internally. It is to accept the unspoken rules and seize the opportunity to rise to the top. Or should we reject this rule and take it slow and steady? The man didn't seem to be in a hurry, but said slowly, the people who came to the banquet this time, without exception, are worth hundreds of billions. If they want to make someone famous, then they will definitely be famous. And, serve once, but this is the number. Ning Cixi's eyes widened, 5 million. No, 50 million, the man stood up, got dressed quickly, and said, Miss Ning, you can think about it carefully. Ning Cixi stood up with rapid breathing and said, I do. Congratulations, Miss Ning, for choosing the path closest to success. 3 o'clock in the morning. Ning Cixi burst into tears. She curled up in a corner, her whole body aching so much that she couldn't breathe, and even sobbing was uncomfortable. This night, she no longer had any good feelings about men and women, only hatred and fear. Cixi! Don't touch me, get out, Ning Cixi roared heartbreakingly. The man sighed and left the room. Looking at the wax marks on her body, as well as the purple and whip marks, Ning Cixi's eyes flashed with a strong resentment. It's all you, Murong Shui. It's all you who made me like this. Ning Cixi stared out the window, her eyes bursting with extremely cruel hatred. I want you to go to hell. Before dawn, Murong Shui and Li Nanfei had already gotten up, and they had to start filming as soon as possible. Try to finish all the shooting around 3 o'clock in the afternoon today. Li Chen also got up and prepared breakfast for him and Li Nanfei. Li Nanfei came out yawning, and his eyes lit up when he smelled the fragrant fried eggs. It smells so good. Come and eat, Li Chen smiled and touched Li Nanfei. The makeup artists at the door had already come in. Murong Shui had also finished tidying up. In addition to their breakfast, there were many more on the table. Everyone has worked hard. Eat some breakfast before working. The photographers were a little flattered. They had never thought that they could have breakfast while working for these top stars. This is not appropriate. There is nothing inappropriate. Come and eat something. Anyway, I have prepared a lot. Li Chen invited, everyone, eat quickly together, so that you can finish work smoothly after today's work. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 590. Go. Murong Xiu pecked Li Chen's face gently, and then took Li Nanfei and the staff to the shooting site. Li Chen watched everyone leave, and finally closed the doors and windows gently. Li Donglong was still sleeping soundly, and Li Zifeng was holding the little wolf. On the bed, Li Biwu was performing performance art. The sleeping angle and twisted posture made Li Chen really unbelievable that this was a pose that a person could create. Gently putting the little girl back, Li Chen lay down again. After waking up, he couldn't fall asleep again. Li Chen took out his mobile phone and saw many messages popped up. Li Chen usually didn't bother to deal with this kind of information. But when the subtitles in front of him came into his eyes, Li Chen couldn't help but read on. The chairman of the Gu family hopes that the culprit will come to apologize. Oh my god, big news, who dares to do something to Gu Yunting? I'm really shocked. Is this the first time that Chairman Gu is so angry? Countless people are commenting, and most of them are locals. The Gu family is very big, and it is an insurmountable mountain in their eyes. This level of existence generally does not easily show up or speak. But just last night, the chairman of the Gu family spoke out. The meaning of the news is very clear. The chairman of the Gu family is very angry, and he will never let go of the evil deeds of the villain. Although the news did not directly name him, Li Chen, but the meaning is quite clear. If you, Li Chen, bring Murong Shui to apologize before tomorrow night, then his Gu family will fight back. The company where Li Chen is located will be fatally blocked, and Murong Shui will be banned. It can be said that when this news came out last night, it caused a great uproar and response. In addition, Li Chen and Murong Shui were on many hot searches last night, and the melon-eating crowd was even more excited. This is a big melon. Anyone who is not a fool can probably guess who the Gu family is calling out to. Is this dad finished? Hee, if you dare to provoke a local tyrant, you may not know how to die. Let me ask you, is this dad awesome? How dare you hurt Mr. Gu? Other people have hundreds of billions of assets, do you think they are awesome? Other people's wife is Murong Shui, do you think they are awesome? Haha, what's the point of being so proud? Is he awesome just because he is Murong Shui's wife? Maybe he is a gigolo. That's right, just a few hundred billion, nothing in front of the Gu family. I'm not saying that this dad has been doing outrageous things since he became famous. If you say he doesn't want to enter the circle, I'm dead, I don't believe it. If a pharmaceutical company like Gu's really shows up, it will be very scary. What's more, the companies that cooperate with Gu's are all super large companies, world-class ones. Li Chen and Murong Shui are afraid that they have hit a wall. Not necessarily. Li Chen is not a dry rice eater, his own foundation is not weak, and Murong Shui can't be manipulated by others. The people upstairs are still too young. You don't really think that these stars are powerful just because they are well known? In front of capital, they are nothing. Dragons and tigers have to coil, understand? Fight against capital? I'm almost in the water. There is a lot of controversy on the internet. In short, the result of the analysis is that if Li Chen and Murong Shui want to mix well, they must go to Gu's to apologize before tonight. Otherwise, what awaits them will be Gu's crazy revenge. After scanning it, Li Chen shook his head. Gu's is considered a leading pharmaceutical company, and those who cooperate with them are also heavyweights of this level. The assets all start at hundreds of billions, and they are all top-notch in the world. To be honest, these families are only slightly worse than the top ones in the capital. They are indeed qualified to look down on Li Chen, and even to speak harshly. However, Li Chen now has enough force and financial resources to beat anyone. Does he need to care about Gu's opinion? If the people of Gu really think they can control him, they are too naive. However, he is too lazy to care. Tonight he still has to meet the people introduced by Nangong Hengchuo, and after that he has to pick up Murong Shui. He is very busy, so how can he have time to play with a small-time person like Gu? If he, Li Chen, is really annoyed, he might as well beat Gu to death. The outside world is getting more and more intense. After all, Gu is an insurmountable mountain in the eyes of everyone. There are even people in the outside world who have opened a special bet to bet on whether Li Chen will apologize. Ning Sisi rested in bed for a day, and she frowned in pain when she moved. When she saw the hotly discussed incident, her eyes lit up. The situation on the internet was almost one-sided, and no one was optimistic about Li Chen and Murong Shui. There was even an analysis emperor who specifically analyzed the cause and effect of this matter. Mr. Gu was unable to pursue Murong Shui, and he put Murong Shui in a dilemma in public. Murong Shui's husband Li Chen was generous on the surface, but secretly gathered people to plot against Mr. Gu. It is said that Mr. Gu was seriously injured, his leg was broken, and he was still lying in the hospital. So, Chairman Gu is very angry. Considering that his own son was beaten, it's not too much to ask for an explanation, right? Li Chen is just a local tyrant in Rongcheng, and his net worth is only a few hundred billion. Isn't he a little too arrogant? How awesome is Gu's group? You should be able to find it on Baidu. Let's not talk about anything else. Just talk about the background of Gu's group and the alliance voices of Gu's group. They are all leaders in various fields. Once the ban on Li Chen's company is launched, what do you think is the chance of Li Chen's victory? This post is very logical and reasonable. In the end, it gave a conclusion that everyone thought was quite rational: Li Chen is no match for Gu. If you don't want the Li family's business to go bankrupt and Murong Shui to be banned, you must apologize. After all, Gu's network of relationships is too complicated. Even some of the big guys behind the scenes in the entertainment industry have to listen to Gu's arrangements. Murong Shui, you also hit a wall sometimes, Ning Sisi couldn't help laughing. It seems that tonight is stable. If Murong Shui doesn't want to be controlled by Gu's, then she has to listen to these capitals. Then at that time, Ning Sisi couldn't help but have her eyes shining. She finally understood why these people were so sure that Murong Shui would become the best example of a car crash of the year. Murong Shui definitely couldn't handle this crisis. Ning Sisi started to put on makeup, and she suddenly felt that her body didn't hurt anymore. Compared with the huge crisis that Murong Shui was about to fall into, what was her injury? She couldn't wait to see how miserable Murong Shui would be after tonight.